Hi, I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be asking 4 CHS teachers why the subject that they teach is in fact the best subject. Let's get started.
English is definitely the best subject because where else do you get to travel through time and experiences of other people that you would never, ever have gotten to meet? Where else do you get to discuss the questions and ideas that have actually plagued people for centuries? And where else do you get to explore what it really means to be human? Really human, right? In all of our complexity and our beauty and our ugliness. Where else do you get to read the words of other people that accurately then describe how you as an individual feel at that particular moment? It's like the perfect being seen by somebody else. And where else then do you get to bask in the beauty and the complexity of language and the human experience? For all of these reasons, English is clearly the best subject.
When I was in high school, the reason I liked math is that it had the answer, right? And it was like true with a capital T, like you had the answer and you were done. Okay, great, let's go have lunch, right? And I really liked that. I liked that about math, that it wasn't messy and it felt very egalitarian to me, and that appealed to me. And that, I guess that's still true. But what I learned in college is that math is relative, right? It changes depending on the rules. And so if you change the rules a little bit, you get a completely different field of mathematics that disagrees with this field of mathematics, but they're both valid in their own rule set, in their own universe. And so you end up as a mathematician, it becomes this game where you're like, oh, what if I tweak this rule, right? And then you invent whole new fields of mathematics with different rules from the originals. And it's just this weird wonderland where you're skipping around, discovering new crap. And it's just that's trippy. That's so effing cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just so cool. It's cool. That's why math is the best subject.
The best subject, I think, because it is just so relatable. And I think so much of it is that we study history to learn from the past so that we don't repeat the same mistakes, which I know is very cliche. But I also think that we are history and we experience history every single day. And a lot of our current events that have just taken place are things that we can tell stories about and things that we can teach to future generations so that they learn from us as well. So it's kind of like a subject that gives and takes.
I love physics from the first year I took it in high school, which was in England many years ago. And what I love about physics is because physics allows me to enjoy the world around me even more. For example, Miss B, who also teaches AP Physics 1, we both really enjoy cycling. So understanding the physics, the mechanics, you can understand how bicycle works, how to repair them, how to make them better for you. So for me, physics is a way for me to really enjoy life even more. And then the other part about physics, it's such a great subject to teach. So the way that Miss B and I teach AP Physics 1 is that we don't tell them what physics is. We don't tell them the equations or the principles or the concepts. The students discover it. So they'll come into class. Each student puts on safety glasses. They get a Nerf gun, and their lab is what is the speed of that Nerf dart when you fire this Nerf gun. So the fun part about teaching physics is to support students exploring doing various activities, and then from there learning the underlying physics. So it's a really fun subject to teach.
10. It just depends on what you're reading, but there's something for everybody.
This is a shame because it should be 9 or 10, but the way that it's taught in America, I'm going to say American non-Montessori schools, because I think Montessori does a good job. 2 or 3, it's horrible. It's horrible. It just, the teaching needs to change.
I think it's about a 9. I think giving anything a 10 would be a little bit difficult, but a 9, because the information is out there, it really depends on just how deeply you want to dig into it. And once you kind of learn the history of one item, or you learn the context, it kind of is easier to kind of fall into how the connections kind of build off of each other.
So we teach college prep physics, AP Physics 1, and AP Physics C. So we have the whole range to make it accessible by the vast majority of our students.
10. Oh my gosh, it could be a mystery. It could be a love story. It could be about, political strife. It could be total escapism. Yeah, 10.
Same, ditto. Same answer.
I enjoy it. 10. And I mean, and I was talking to my husband about this, and I was like, some people really, really love history, and it's super easy for them to understand. And then there are others who kind of put it I think at a 7. I think most people are interested in history. They just don't know what kind of history they're really into, or most people have their little niches. So it's really about finding what it is that you're really interested in, I think.
For students, I think that's really high. I don't think I could say, well, is it a 10 for some students? Absolutely, but it's really high. So once the students get comfortable with their teachers, which which happens in every classroom, once they understand that they can do activities which are not graded. Not everything is graded. I'm looking for students to be committed, to be engaged, to enjoy doing it. And that's that's why teaching physics is so much fun, because when I do my job right, which I try very hard to do, then there's a whole buzz in the classroom because the students just have a fun time.
10 in that it is easy to teach because it's something that I love, 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 and feel so passionately about. The ease of teaching writing, harder.
Gosh. I mean, at the high school level, I think 8 or 9.
I think that's a 10. I think it's really easy to teach students to love history, especially when you can kind of bring in the pop culture aspect of it, or the current event side of it. And as soon as you're okay, this happened with imperialism, which is why it's important with what's happening currently today in this area, they're oh, that makes so much more sense. There's so much more history behind it than I thought there was. So I think that kind of a connection and that kind of light bulb really helps.
I think the challenge in teaching physics, I think is a challenge for any other subject, which is how can you present it in such a way that students can relate to it. So the hard work is putting a lesson plan together that students that can relate to and find engaging. So that's a lot of work, but it's fun work. So if you actually wanted a number, for me, it's a joy to do. So I will put it at an 8 or a 9.
10, of course. It's totally a 10, right? Because it doesn't matter what it is that you're reading. If you're asking questions and you're thinking and you're wondering what the possibilities are, and trying to see and understand other people, it's going to improve your communication skills, your reading skills, your ability then to relate to other people who are similar to you, but also who are different from you. 10, totally a 10.
10, absolutely 10, yeah. People don't agree with me, but I'm right.
10, definitely. Like I said at the beginning, we live history. So to kind of go forward without really taking a look back you can't really do it. I think you really do have to kind of dig back, dig deep, understand, and then just move forward from there.
Part of it, and that again comes from me being a physics teacher, being passionate about physics, is I apply it everywhere all the time. For students, what the colleges really like about AP Physics 1 is they know it's a challenging course. It's an AP course, no question about that, but it's heavily conceptually based. So students be able to work through concepts and draw conclusions. AP Physics C is directly applicable to all engineering courses. So I think it has broad applicability across, of course, the sciences and engineering, the conceptual development of a conceptual understanding applies into, especially in medicine and in business and in architecture, and you can just go on. And more broadly for me, it allows you to understand and enjoy the world around you even more. So.